Hello and welcome to TribalTalk, a short-form discussion show from TribalScale, creating open discussions for tech topics and beyond. I'm Connor, social media specialist here at TribalScale, and today I'm joined by Heather and Daniel. So thank you both for joining. Excited to have you here to chat. So last time we talked about Apple on TribalTalk was pretty much exactly 3 months ago, and that was revealing the Apple Vision Pro. So updates on that were pretty quiet until yesterday when we heard of the early 2024 release, which is right on schedule. But of course, not the reason we're here. We're here about the Apple Wonderlust reveal yesterday and the news that brought. So if any watchers hasn't heard so far, Apple officially revealed the iPhone 15 lineup, as well as brand new Apple Watch and Apple Watch Ultra 2. Nothing here in terms of products being revealed is too much of a surprise in terms of product, but some of the features and additions are kind of massive topic points that people have been waiting a long time for. Ones we didn't really see coming, so we'll get into it. Starting with Apple Watch. Heather, I know you're a runner. Do you use an Apple Watch or another brand or nothing at all?
I use a Garmin watch. I was saying someone this morning, like, I don't really ever see the more hardcore runners that I know using the Apple Watch, although I think that as I hear more about the features that they have for tracking sugar and heart rate and things like that, I think maybe sugar is a misestimation there. But I think as they're getting into these more granular health components, I could definitely see runners going over there. It's really the battery time that gets you. But from what I'm reading, I think that's looking better and better. So not using an Apple Watch yet, but I wouldn't rule it out, and I wouldn't be surprised if I saw more people kind of moving over.
Yeah, what about you, Daniel? I know you kind of cover our Apple side of things usually pretty heavy. So are you an Apple Watch user, overall Apple user, or what's
Yeah,
going on there?
definitely. I mean, I have an Apple Watch. Not much of a runner, but I mean, if I do go out for walks and things like that, it's always nice to track and see some of those rings closing. So that's nice. I mean, it's more of an extension of the device I find, as opposed to kind of a dedicated device for myself. So I mean, it's great to have in terms of seeing quick messages and reminders, things like that. But usually, I'll go to my phone if I do have any responses or those types of things. I'll go that route.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I've bought, like, I think I'm on my third Apple Watch, and each one it was just like, that'd be nice to have. I have completely no use for it, but we're here with one anyway. So yeah, in terms of Apple Watch, I think realistically the Apple Watch Ultra 2 we won't need to cover much, because I feel like it's such a small amount of people that actually buy an Ultra. Like, just I think the Mac lovers, or the Apple lovers, sorry. But some things on that, they had a new modular display come out, and then the battery life got a little bit of a tweak. I think it's 36 hours regular use, and then if you're on low battery mode, it's like 72 hours. So maybe runners, it's a bit heavier, but if they want the battery life and they're planning on running for 72 hours, then get an Ultra, and then that's your fix.
Calling it an ultra watch, like you're begging for, like, confusing your consumers. People are gonna be buying these things for ultra marathons and getting upset when they die. They don't last the whole day.
For sure. Another very small update was the AirPods. I know I'm still on, like, the first generation. I'm in dire need of an upgrade, especially working from home, using them pretty much like 10 hours a day. No updates really. They're re-releasing their Pro version with USB-C charging in the case. I think that's on the 22nd that comes out. So pretty much no news from AirPods, but it is nice now that you can, obviously with the iPhone, which we'll talk about, getting USB-C, you can charge your AirPods from your phone. So that's kind of a cool feature if you're traveling, but I think most people will just plug it into the wall, if we're being completely honest. We'll jump right into that. Daniel, what do you think about the USB-C integration into iPhone? It's obviously well welcomed, but I know I'm not sure if you know the drawbacks that people are getting pretty mad about right now.
No, I actually haven't. I mean, their hand was kind of forced, right, with the regulations that were coming, and sure enough, even if the regulations are, across on the other side of the planet, it's still going to make it our way, anyways, right? So, I mean, it makes sense for them just to move into that route and get it done, and now they can update all their manufacturing and that to just produce USB-C and be amongst a more regular standard. Plus, I mean, the iPad's already there, the Mac is there. Most of their devices have already moved that route anyways. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, everybody's just got a bunch of dead chargers now sitting around. So,
exactly. I literally have like probably 15 in this room alone that have just been wasted away. You lose it for a day and then you find it and you've already
What am I
bought
supposed to
another
do with
one.
all my converter card cables too? It's not even the chargers. It's like all the dongles to switch between this, that, and the other thing. And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And now there's already a new dongle that they released yesterday. What is it? The USB-C to Lightning, or whichever way around it is. So they'll
I
always
think
be
I
dongles.
already bought one of those off Amazon 2 years ago just to try to use these Apple products.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, people are basically going to have to do that now, right? It's either you buy a single adapter that goes to Lightning from USB-C so that you can still use all your or all your Lightning style cables, or you're just going to have to switch everything over to USB-C, which I know in the event they also did announce that their wired headset that they have now is USB-C. So, I mean, it's there at least in that sense, but otherwise, it's dongles on dongles on dongles again. So
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Like I mentioned before, people are getting pretty upset. Obviously, with USB-C, pretty much every other phone brand has like this super fast charging capability. Literally within 25, 30 minutes, your phone's fully charged. And someone from Apple has come out after the announcement and basically said that iPhones don't have that. So you're still going to be looking at that, hour to an hour and a half charging time, which is not ideal, but we can't complain. It's a very small amount of time when you look in the scheme of things, but it is what it is. We're going to keep charging up. But yeah, in terms of the iPhone 15, dive into the Pro. It's obviously got the 48 megapixel main camera. It's pretty much a DSLR at this point with some of the examples they showed yesterday. And the big changes was titanium replacing stainless steel, which we all know, like the fingerprints you get on this thing, you can even see it here, is just insane. So that's very welcome that I don't have to see that anymore.
Mine's
It's also
kind of
probably going to
matte.
make
I
it.
actually don't have that on mine.
Which one do you have?
Oh, maybe. I guess I have the iPhone Mini, the blue one. But it's, I
I
guess you
think
can
it's
kind of,
like the
I mean, you
matte.
know what? The bezel is so destroyed. I never even noticed the fingerprints.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm a forever caser, so like I always have a case on mine. So I just no fingerprints. There you go. That's your solution too, right? Just get a case. There you go.
Exactly.
No, but once you get the case, right, the device just bulks up more too. Like I take the case off and it actually feels weird to hold. It's actually so, like, they're so thin and light. So, but
Exactly. Yeah. So I think between, obviously with the titanium, and then they've changed the bezels. So obviously you can see here, you can see where the screen ends. They're trying to reduce that quite a bit. The bezels are shorter. So while the phone and what did they say? The screen remains the same size.
yeah, the screen's the
phone
same,
is
but the phone's smaller, I think now.
Yeah,
Basically, just not by much, but yeah.
exactly. And we can see, if I pull it up here, we can see they added the ceramic shield to the screen. This is everything for the Pro Max. They're basically wanting to get to a point where iPhones, they're good looking phones. They want it to sell. So they want no case and no screen protector. But if someone's spending almost $2,000 on a phone, they're probably going to put a case and a screen protector on it. That's just not how people are going to go. But they really want it to be naked and sellable, which people are going to put a case on. The other kind of big addition.
There's no case. We're throwing phones.
Exactly.
We've got scratches on everything. We're living the Apple dream. If only they would sell more minis, I'd buy more iPhones.
Yeah, I mean the Mini didn't even make it in. I mean, well, they got the SE still, but no minis, no smaller ones.
No,
Exactly.
I'll have to wait till they start shrinking them. It's fine.
I'm sure they will. We can't be too far away from the shrinkage again. They always come back with the shrinkage. Another big one, Daniel, I'll ask what you think about this, the action button. They're obviously replacing the silent on and off switch with the action button, which is, from what I can remember, you can obviously still silence the phone, you can put in focus, translate, camera, pretty much anything you can do on an iPhone, you will be able to launch it. I think the easiest route most people will go is like just triggering Siri with it and then asking Siri to do those things for them. But what do you think about that change, and is it welcomed?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting change. I know from what I've read so far, it's, the default functionality of the silent mode will be the default of the button. And from what I've read as well, it's like going to be a long press on it to actually activate whatever it is. That way it's less accidental, say when it's in your pocket or those kinds of things. And the fact that you can customize it to your needs, I mean, that's pretty decent with, if people need to get to the camera quickly. I mean, I know the home screen already has the button to do that, or your lock screen, I should say. But yeah, the ability to kind of get to singular actions really quickly seems to be pretty good. I'm wondering if there's going to be a way to maybe put a few different actions on it and then change between them potentially, because to just have a single action on the button doesn't seem, overly beneficial.
Right.
But if people are going to activate Siri, I mean, they're just going to say, "Hey Siri," and then go from there most likely. So I'm not sure if it'll be Siri that takes over that button, but probably just a customization to whatever the individual user needs.
So you're
Is
almost
there
thinking like,
multiple gestures, or it's just the one gesture, like one to maybe multiple things? Like I was thinking, just in consuming it, like maybe there'd be multiple gestures you could do with the button if it's a double tap or a triple tap or a long tap, short tap, and maybe
yeah,
that
that's
is
what
how
I
you
was
get different
what I
components.
was thinking. I
Yeah.
think, like you both said, the ideal situation would be like customizable, like single tap Siri, double tap flashlight, three taps voice
Come on, Dan,
memo,
why don't we
something
work
like
at
that.
Apple?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that does. I mean, that would make the most sense in my opinion, because to just have a single use out of the button doesn't seem much more beyond what kind of you already had
What
on
it
there,
was.
right? So, I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, so I think it'll be welcome, but I mean, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait for the applications of it once the devices come and we can use them more. So,
Perfect. Yeah. Another one, just jumping on it, was the Apple Watch, the new, what was the wording they used for it? I don't even know what you call it, the new
Oh, the
gesture.
gesture.
oh, the double
Super
tap.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
super
thumb and
weird.
index finger tapping. Yeah, I I feel like it's gonna be hard for people probably to get over their initial, like, our habits probably are to already tap, right? Or those kinds of things. And then the other thing I'd wonder too is that double tap goes on to like the primary button, I think they said. So apps are gonna have to indicate what is the primary button, I guess more obviously. Is it, the pick up the call versus the hang up, which of course in that instance it makes the most sense to be picking up the call. But I also wonder the accuracy of it. I mean, Apple usually, when they do put things out, it's usually pretty spot on by the time they actually release it to us. So we'll have to see, those kinds of things, and again, how developers and apps are going to show what that primary action is when you double tap.
This whole release just made me think that they were getting ready or help making us get ready for the world of VR. It's like you start introducing these gestures. You have this little tipping thing, which just, I don't know, it was just screaming like sci-fi movie at me. But even the way the presentation was done, I was like, are these people in VR? Is she really in front of these spin bikes? Is this guy really like on this dock? Or are they just like are they in the metaverse? And then they're going to later be like, gotcha. See, you didn't even know. It's so great in here. Come on, join us. Like, I don't know, something about it. I just thought there's more going on here, but maybe that's just me reading too much into it. But to me, this was like the Apple release of like the VR world, and we don't even realize it yet.
I thought the same. Like I said to Heather earlier, I'm no offense to Tim Cook. In the first like 30 seconds of him speaking, I'm convinced it was AI. Like his voice was dropping so quick. If anyone that's watching, go back and watch it. I'm completely convinced there was just something that was just like, he's not doing this. This is going to come out as it's like we did this all on the Vision Pro, and no one could tell, like you said, Heather. And it's just like there was just something the whole time. Maybe he's just that's his new thing, but I'm convinced it was an AI version of Tim Cook out there speaking.
I just think like when Mark Zuckerberg tried to tell everyone that we're all going into the metaverse, it was not that well received and it ended up being very uncool. So maybe the Apple approach is like, show it, don't do it, don't tell.
Exactly.
We'll see.
And I guess, yeah, to the last topic point, which is one of the big ones, is obviously Apple announced that the entire Apple Watch lineup is now their first carbon neutral product. So I think it was a year or two ago, they basically said by 2030, we want to be a completely carbon neutral company. And I was honestly convinced it would probably be like 3 to 5 years before we saw something like Apple Watch or iPhone be carbon neutral, but now it's official that the Apple Watch is a completely carbon neutral product. That's everywhere from the build to the band's delivery. You know, they're getting rid of leather completely, which I'm a little sad about. Leather cases from Apple were pretty legendary in terms of quality. Those are gone. It's fine woven, I believe, is the name that's coming in. But they mentioned things like sea delivery instead of air delivery, like if it's going over to Europe, for example. Not sure how that's going to change like delivery time in terms of getting stuff over there, but yeah, Apple Watch is completely carbon neutral. It's a good step for the world, and they mentioned like there's obviously offset. They didn't completely wipe that out to zero. There's, for the amount of fuel they're using in delivery, they're replacing with planting trees. So super cool from Apple. Obviously a lot quicker than expected, and by the end of the decade they're going to be, fingers crossed, 100% carbon neutral. So very cool from them. I wonder what's next, but I'm sure it won't be iPhones that'll be next, because that's the big one. So yeah, that's kind of everything in terms of massive updates from Apple. There wasn't anything major announcements from there. I'm sure usually Apple have small things kind of come out the weeks to follow. Obviously iOS 17, I believe, is like a couple days away from coming out now. I'm on the beta version. It's pretty cool, but maybe we'll do another episode once that's up, just to see how we like it and kind of what changed. Is there anything else you guys have, or?
I just want to know if I could take all my Apple dongles back and get something for them. Like,
Yeah,
if they could just
like
start
$10 gift
recycling
card.
those. Give me like,
some type of return program
give me
or
a picture
something.
of Tim Cook's cat. I don't care what I get, but like, please take away these dongles because they're taking up a lot of space here.
Yeah,
Maybe
but you're
we'll do
just
like a
replacing
dongle
them,
swap.
right, for the USB-C one anyways.
Exactly.
Now,
They're
so
just going to trade me in and
just
out.
trade.
Yeah.
Trade
It's a net zero dongle.
Yeah, there's gonna be like 2 lineups on release day, like this line to buy your phone, this line for dongle swap.
Mhm.
And I guarantee the dongle swap one will be a lot longer.
Way longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's it in terms of Apple announcements. Super exciting, and within a week or so, we're going to see those products out in the world. I'm planning on getting the new Pro Max, so maybe in a few weeks we'll do another episode or a blog, and we'll update kind of initial thoughts and so on. But for you both, thank you both for taking.
They didn't have any updates, sorry, Connor, on the Vision Pro. They didn't, right? They didn't talk about any of that stuff.
Just the release of it, basically, that it's like on track. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did also say too, with regards to like the Pro versions, you can take spatial videos now as well, which you can then play back on the Vision Pro as like the spatial, like the more 3D videos and that. But otherwise, the Vision Pro wasn't.
Interesting. DIY.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave it like 30 seconds of show, and then just like everything's on track. The team's doing great, and it'll be early 2024. So maybe we'll grab a few for TribalScale once they're announced, or once they're available. Test them out. But yeah, so Daniel, Heather, thank you both for taking the time to chat. Very good, very, very quick and easy, but it's exciting stuff. So if anyone wants to find more from TribalScale and TribalTalk, you can go to our YouTube channel, onto our socials, TribalScale everywhere, and wherever you get your podcasts, and see more from us. But thank you both, and we'll talk to you soon.
No problem, and thank you, Connor.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thanks, Connor. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, see you.